It always begins with whispers, half-forgotten tales passed down through generations, each time gaining new shadows, new fears. In the small town of Ashford, there is one story everyone knows but no one dares to speak about out loud. The story of the Ashford Vanishing House. They say it is not a house at all, but a trap. A cursed place that appears when the night is stillest, calling out to anyone who dares to wander too close. Some call it an urban legend, others a cruel ghost story, but the evidence lies buried in the town's history. Too many names, too many disappearances that never had answers. The house itself sits on the edge of the old forest, tucked behind a winding dirt road that no map records anymore. Locals swear it shifts places, as if the land itself bends around it. During the day, it looks abandoned, just another forgotten ruin with collapsed walls and rotting wood. But at night, when the mist creeps in from the marshes, its windows glow faintly, as though candlelight flickers inside. More than one passerby has claimed to see figures moving beyond the curtains, shadows pacing the empty rooms, though no one ever finds anything when they investigate by daylight. The first documented case goes back to 1952. A pair of teenagers, Tommy Wells and Margaret Doyle, disappeared after sneaking out one summer night. Their bicycles were later found near the dirt path leading toward the house, still upright, tires muddy as if hastily abandoned. Search parties scoured the woods for weeks, but neither Tommy nor Margaret were ever seen again. Their families insisted they must have been taken, perhaps even murdered, but without evidence, the case turned cold. The house remained, looming, unbroken by time. Decades later, stories piled up like bricks in a cursed wall. Hunters who followed their dogs into the fog and never returned. Hitchhikers who vanished after being dropped off near the forest road. A mail carrier whose truck was found idling with the door open, engine still running, letters scattered across the ground. Each time, whispers circled back to the house. But the police refused to admit any connection. No reports listed it officially, no mention in the records. It was as though acknowledging it gave it power. In 1987, a young journalist named Daniel Carter decided he would expose the truth. Fresh out of college, eager to prove himself, he announced in the local paper that he intended to spend a night inside the house. The town scoffed, but secretly many were terrified. On the evening of October 12, Daniel carried a tape recorder, a camera, and a flashlight. He set up his gear and walked into the house just before midnight. Neighbors recalled seeing his flashlight beam through the cracked windows, swaying slowly as he moved from room to room. Then, suddenly, everything went dark. The next morning, his car was found still parked on the roadside, keys in the ignition, camera and recorder missing. His body was never recovered. The article he had promised to write never materialized. To this day, only one tape fragment was ever found, half buried in the dirt near the front steps. On it, a faint voice could be heard whispering Daniel's name, followed by a long, dragging sound. And then silence. People say the house does not kill. It takes. As though it feeds on the living, drawing them in, swallowing them whole. Survivors, few as they are, describe a disorienting sensation, as if the walls stretch endlessly, hallways looping into themselves, doors leading back into the same room again and again. One man, a vagrant who stumbled inside during a storm in the 1990s, claimed he wandered for hours while hearing voices calling him by name. When he finally escaped, dawn was breaking, but when he tried to retrace his steps days later, the house was gone. Within a year, he had vanished too, leaving his campsite abandoned near the edge of town. Some believe once the house touches you, it never truly lets you go. Perhaps the strangest detail is this: the house seems to know who you are. Witnesses say it whispers names. At first, softly, like the wind in the trees. Then louder, closer, as though someone stands just behind you. The whispers promise answers, promise comfort, sometimes even the voice of someone you lost. More than one grieving parent has been lured inside after hearing their child's laughter coming from within. But what enters is never what comes out. By the late 1990s, rumors began circulating about secret government interest in the property. Some townsfolk swore they saw unmarked vans parked near the woods at night, their headlights covered, their engines silent. Men in dark clothing were seen carrying equipment into the forest, only to leave empty-handed before dawn. Officially, no agency has ever admitted to investigating the site. But to this day, the dirt road remains chained off, though the padlock is always mysteriously broken within days. Another layer of mystery came when old property records were unearthed in the county archives. The deed listed an owner named Dr. Alistair Grieve, a physician who vanished in 1921. His journals, though fragmentary, spoke of studying the threshold between life and death and constructing a vessel strong enough to contain wandering souls. Some believe the house itself is that vessel, designed to trap the living and the dead alike. If true, the curse is not an accident, but the legacy of a man who sought to play God with forces he could never control. Then there are the photographs. Faded Polaroids sometimes appear tucked into library books, inside drawers at the town hall, or left on church steps in the dead of night. They always depict the same thing: a blurry figure standing at one of the house's windows, watching. The figure is never the same. Sometimes a man, sometimes a woman, sometimes a child. Always staring out. Always waiting. No one knows who leaves the photographs, or why. In recent years, with the rise of online forums and social media, the legend has spread far beyond Ashford. Paranormal enthusiasts, YouTubers, and thrill-seekers flock to the town each year, convinced they will be the ones to capture proof. Some return with shaky footage of shadows, unexplained noises, or flickering lights. Others simply disappear, their last posts frozen in time, an unfinished live stream, a caption that reads, "We found it," followed by silence. Others believe the house is not stationary at all, but a parasite that grows wherever fear is strongest. They say it attaches itself to towns with long histories of suffering, feeding on grief until it manifests in wood and stone. Ashford may just be its latest host, doomed until it chooses another place to plant its roots. If that theory is true, then perhaps the house is not bound to this forest. Perhaps, one day, it could be anywhere. One chilling account tells of a woman who claims she saw the house appear across from her own home, hundreds of miles from Ashford. She woke at 3 a.m. to find a glow seeping through her curtains. When she looked out, she swore the same decaying structure stood there, its windows alive with faint light. By sunrise, it was gone, leaving only a patch of scorched grass where it had stood. Her testimony was dismissed as hysteria. But what if she was right? Skeptics dismiss the legend as coincidence layered with hysteria, a patchwork of disappearances explained away by crime, misadventure, or the unforgiving wilderness. But what skeptic can explain the voices? The whispers of names heard by dozens of unrelated witnesses, or the photographs that appear where no one admits leaving them? Logic may push back, but fear has its own evidence, and in Ashford, fear is the only constant. Even today, the Ashford Vanishing House remains an enigma. No official record places it anywhere, yet countless stories describe it in chilling detail. Some call it a collective hallucination, a shared nightmare born from fear and folklore. But the missing persons reports tell another story. Year after year, names are added to the quiet tally of those who vanish near the woods, their lives swallowed by something no one dares to confront. Families leave flowers at the roadside, hoping their loved ones will someday return, though deep down they know the truth. And so the house waits. It does not age, does not crumble, does not yield to time. Its windows still flicker with faint candlelight on mist-heavy nights, luring in the curious, the reckless, the desperate. Perhaps one day you will find yourself driving that lonely road, the fog curling around your headlights, a faint glow appearing just beyond the trees. Will you keep driving, or will you stop, drawn by the pull of something you cannot explain? After all, the house only exists if you look for it. But if you find it, will it ever let you leave?